Excited to have my next guest on the show. It is Alden Cobra Coria, who picked up a round three TKO victory over Alessandro Costa this past weekend at UFC Noche. Alden, man, what a way to make your UFC debut. Big victory over a tough guy. How you feeling right now? How has life been since the big win?
It's been pretty great, honestly. I was doubted from the beginning. I was doubted by all the picker, like people that are betting, and the odds just were favoring him way too much. I just had to tell them to put some respect on my name, that's for sure.
I love it. And I'm glad you mentioned the odds because you were a pretty sizable underdog, plus 270 going into the fight. Do you pay attention to that kind of stuff now that you're in the UFC and you see, whether you're the dog or the favorite? And does that kind of motivate you?
I did. I was looking at that. I was looking at that maybe like weeks before the fight was happening, but it definitely motivated me because it's pretty messed up. I mean, if you know 4 Ounce Fight Club, then you know that we're coming to fight, and for them to have the odds that big at a big of a discrepancy, then you're just you're sleeping on us, and that's not good.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You're used to fighting in, big fights. You fought for, a lot of great regional promotions, but there is that step up to the UFC, and you always hear like the octagon jitters. Did you feel that going in? I know this is a big event, UFC Noche. What was that like as far as the nerves go?
Before the walkout happened, I was getting a little nervous, but man, really once the walkout started happening, it felt natural. It felt like I was supposed to be there, and that's how I know I belong in the UFC because I wasn't nervous. It felt like I belonged. I was enjoying the crowd being there. I enjoyed walking out, shaking the fans' hands. Man, it felt great. It felt really good.
And to do it in Texas too, that's got to make it a little sweeter, right?
It does. It definitely does having the Texas crowd there. They definitely cheer on their people, and I'm really appreciative of that.
What has life been like since? Has your phone been blowing up nonstop? You getting a lot of DMs? What has that been like?
Yeah, a lot of DMs, followers, people telling me they hate me because I messed up their parlay, uh, telling me I suck or that I'm a bum or something. Just a bunch of stuff. But I mean, it's been great. Otherwise than that, a lot of fans telling me that they're new fans, that they're excited to see me fight again. Friends and family are excited for me, and my girlfriend's excited for me. I'm excited for this baby to come up. So it's been great. I'm getting to focus on home life a little bit more instead of being at the gym 3 times a day. So it's been great. It's been really good.
So tell me, what was the game plan going in against Costa? Obviously, he's a guy, he's well-rounded fighter. You hear the commentary talking about like his power, and if he does connect, it can be a problem for his opponents. What was your mindset of what he brought to the table going into the fight?
Really, my mindset for this fight was we watched a ton of footage. Me and our Chinese young watched a bunch of footage. Um, we knew he loved the calf kick, and then we knew he would throw big power punches. And I mean, I've seen that so many times in previous fights or in training camp. Like we have people that are the same exact style as him, just a bit better. So we were definitely prepared for this type of fight. Calf kick, big punches, and then once he got desperate, he was going to shoot, and that's what he did at the first end of the first round, and then he kind of jumped on me. He jumped guard second round, so he thought that his ground game was going to work, and he just didn't. If you know 4 Ounce Fight Club, then you know that we got some of the best ground and pound here in Texas, and if not the world.
I always find it curious to hear what fighters tell me when their coaches are giving them advice going into rounds two and three of a high level fight like this. What did your team tell you after your first official round in the UFC?
They were telling me to not worry about power, just worry about the speed, and that's kind of what I did. I was trying to get in and out, hitting him quick with these jabs, 1-2s, leg kicks. They were just telling me to be fast because all he was trying to do was load up on some punches, and he was hoping I would stay in the pocket, and that just wasn't going to happen.
Did you find yourself making like any in-fight adjustments on the fly in there? Like, was there anything that he did that maybe took you by surprise at all?
Uh, Not really. I mean, his game has been seen for so much for so long. Besides with him, a lot of people fight kind of like similar to him. They have the same build, so they kind of have to fight the same way. So, I mean, nothing really surprised me. Nothing was new, and I mean, I don't feel like I had to make any severe adjustments. that I can really think of off the top of my head. But the fight, a fight's a fight. You got to adjust pretty much second by second, but not really.
Okay, fair enough. You ended the second round really strong. You were on top. Do you feel like if you had a few more seconds, you could have gotten him out there at the end of round two? Could you tell maybe you had him hurt?
I didn't know about his foot until we had separated for the end of the round. So, once I saw him on the ground, pretty much looking at the ref, saying, "What do I do about my foot?" To me, it kind of just sounded like he wanted to get out of there, and an injury would be a perfect excuse to get out. But that's fine with me.
Do we know how he hurt his foot?
I don't. I don't know if it was because he put his toes in the cage or if he got stuck in the between the cage and the mat. I don't know when it happened, so I'm not too sure.
Gotcha. What was, I guess, your mindset going into the third round? You must have been smelling blood, like going in there looking to kill, right? Like, could you
Uh,
kind of feel like, okay, all I got to do is put the pressure on this guy and I'm going to get him out of there?
Absolutely. And then honestly, when I threw that first head kick before him backing into the cage, I just saw him pretty much just like submit to me. Like he was like, I'm done. Like he just kept backing up, put his hands up, kind of curled into a ball, and I kind of knew he was done at that point.
Do you think that maybe like you broke his spirit? It wasn't necessarily the injury, more of just kind of like mentally you broke him.
I definitely feel like he quit. I definitely feel like I mentally broke him, because I outstruck him the first round. He thought he was going to take me down at the first, into the first, and then the second, I guarantee he thought his jiu-jitsu was going to be better than mine, and it wasn't going to be. And the third round, I guarantee he was like, I just don't have anything for this kid. I can't do anything at this point. So I definitely feel like I mentally broke him.
And what was that like feeling like afterwards when you got your hand raised and you got to finish in your UFC debut, man? Like, can you kind of compare it to something previous in your life, or was this like the greatest experience you've had so far?
Definitely the greatest experience I've had so far in my entire life. Yeah, there's nothing I think I can compare it to. Maybe winning the Fury FC flyweight championship, but yeah, there's nothing I can compare that feeling to. Having Bruce Buffer announce your name, saying that you won by TKO in your UFC debut, there's nothing better than that. I felt ecstatic. I just couldn't believe it. Once Dan Mergliotta pushed me off, I just couldn't believe it. I was just at a loss for words, really.
He said your name introducing you, Korea, and it's Coria, right? Like, what's the
Coria, yeah, Coria.
okay? Did you
Yeah.
notice that when he said your name wrong initially?
I initially no, but I've been dealing with that my whole life too. I'm gonna just have to talk to him and let him know how it's pronounced. But yeah, I didn't notice that first.
Okay, I pay attention to that stuff because my last name is Jarrell, and everyone will say Gerald. Drives me nuts. So I want to make sure that
Yeah,
people pronounce it correctly. That's why I did a little research to make sure I'm saying your name correct. So I found it funny. It's got to be hard to say a lot of these, crazy. Not that your last name is hard to pronounce, but there's so many fighters in the UFC that have these wild last names. I don't know how they pronounce all of them correctly.
yeah, I don't either. And mine isn't hard to pronounce, but people just see it differently.
Yeah.
They're trying to enunciate it some type of way. But yeah,
What was the post fight meal like? What food did you get into?
we went to Little Woodrow's, which was just pretty much like wings, fried pickles, nachos, pizza, just a bunch of junk.
So you had it all.
I had it all. Yeah, I had some cookies, bunch of crazy stuff. But
Good for
yeah,
well,
I'm leaning away from that now. I've had enough. I'm over it at this
yeah.
point.
Back to getting dialed in, ready for that next UFC fight whenever it is. Tell me, did you watch the rest of the card at all? I'm sure you probably wanted to tune in to see that main event, which was an absolute barn burner. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the card as a whole and that Lopez Silva main event.
No, I definitely watched the rest of the fights. I was trying to watch them in the back while I was doing my interviews, but pulled them up on my phone, made sure to get the rest of them watched, and man, it was an amazing card. Kwang Lee versus I forgot his name. Was it Lewis? Yeah, that was a great fight. Who was it? Rob Font and Martinez.
Yes.
Uh, that was a great fight. And then also, yeah, Diego Lopez and Gene Silva. That was a great fight as well. Man, I thought Lopez was going to get it done in the first, and I don't know if Lopez just wanted to punish him some more in the next round, or he just couldn't finish it in that first. But second round, Gene came back a little bit, but ultimately got caught by that spinning elbow that he tried 4 times.
Yeah, that was an absolutely bonkers fight. Hopefully, those two get rematched down the line. I would like to see that one again. What
That
was
would be.
just like the whole fight week, everything that you had to do? Like, obviously, it's got to be real different than anything you've ever experienced before.
Man, yeah, it was totally different. The UFC has people for everything, like your media, your food, your fight kit, who's going to deal with your hotel stuff. I mean, it's totally different than anything I've experienced. Yeah, I would say like maybe the greatest thing that they have there is the nutritionist because man, I was eating pretty much full meals in between while I was cutting up to my last day. I was eating 3 meals a day with 2 snacks in between. So that was like the greatest like possible thing I could have had that would have helped me. This was definitely my easiest cut to 126 or 125. And man, yeah, it was an experience the whole thing. Media day, doing your shadow boxing for the cameras and stuff like that, meeting the team. It was great. It was awesome.
How big can you get outside of camp? Like, what is that cut for you generally like to get down to 125?
Man, if I'm maybe only training once a day, which I shouldn't be, maybe like 150 plus. And if I'm consistently in the gym, somewhere from 140 to 145.
Okay. So that's generally where most flyweights walk around at, right? You guys are cutting 20 pounds.
Yeah, about 15 to 20 pounds.
Okay. So you haven't really given much thought to fighting at bantamweight. You feel like 125 will be your home regardless for a while, anyways.
Definitely, for sure. Those guys at 135 are massive. Those guys are cutting from 165, 170, and that's just not a guy I want to fight
Yeah.
on fight night.
I hear you. There are weight classes for a reason, my man. Tell me, what is life like for you outside of training? Tell me a little bit about, just yourself, your personal life. I understand you're going to be a father at some point here in the near future. How has that been trying to prepare for that?
It's been, I mean, it's only been a short few weeks since we found out, but man, it's exciting. I'm just not sure what to expect, and I mean, it's going to be something new for me, and I'm just really excited. Things that I do outside of camp, or maybe like gaming, going to fish. I don't really do too much. I don't like to be out too often. I don't like to be in crowds. I don't like talking to a lot of people. I mean, that's probably going to change here soon. I'm going to have to make a change because I'm going to have to start making some more money. But yeah, I mean, I'm just a real big homebody. I like being home and relaxing, and I don't try to get in the mix too much. I got to try to stay focused and stay prepared for these fights.
So you like to fish. Where do you generally go? Like, what do you hope to catch when you're out fishing?
Galveston. I usually go to Galveston, Texas, and usually like speckled trout, red drum, black drum, typical fish that we can catch out here.
Okay. Do you have to worry about like anything crazy? I don't know Texas too well, so you're gonna have to fill me in. Like, are there any, crazy snakes or anything like that you got to keep an eye out for when you're out there?
No, not. Oh well, maybe like some rattlesnakes if you're out hunting. I haven't been hunting yet, and that's what me and Kevin Holland are actually going to get something planned to go hunting for some hogs soon. And I think it's rattlesnakes that you got to watch out for. So I got definitely gonna have to buy some boots for that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm all the way up here in Maine, so we got to worry about like black bear, moose, that kind of stuff. But you got
Oh,
to go deep in the woods if you really want to see them.
oh yeah, yeah. That would be some scary stuff to deal with. That's
It's a little different, that's for sure. And so this will be your first child, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, so it's going to be a big change. Do you feel like you're going to be able to get the sleep that you need to, hopefully prepare how you need to for these big fights?
We'll figure it out. I think I'll be all right. And this is definitely lit a fire under my ass for this past fight. It definitely lit a fire under my ass, and then it's just gonna push me even harder for these next few fights.
Talk to me a little bit about your teammate and main training partner, Joshua Van, and just the fast rise that he's had here in the UFC. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? To think about how long he's been here and now he's going to be fighting for a title next. Like, what does that do to you personally? How does that motivate you? How does that, make you feel about yourself moving forward and that someone that you're so close with that's already going to be fighting for a title?
Mhm. First and foremost, man, Joshua Van is one of the best things that could have happened to me in our fight camp at Four Ounce Fight Club. Man, he's such a great person to have around. Good friend, good family friend, good teammate. He's always there for you, uh, whether it's for fighting or for other reasons. But having him there at the gym is such a huge inspiration because I've seen it things took off for him, and he's able to take care of his friends and his family, and that's just something we all want to be able to do from fighting. That's why we do this, you know. So it's been a huge motivation, and I'm glad to have him on the team. So and me seeing him being fighting for the number one spot and now for the title, like that just makes me question myself. Like, what does that mean for me? Like, how quickly can I get there as well? You know, and I don't think it should be a short. I don't think it should be a long time till I get there. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping he beats Pantoja this December, and I know he can. It's very possible. And again, people are doubting him, and they've been doubting him since day one. Once he first got there, they were telling him he was going to lose to Brandon Royval, and now they're saying Pantoja. Man, this kid is crazy good. He learns super quick. He's like a sponge. He soaks it all in, and man, that kid's learning every single day. So it wouldn't surprise me to see an even better Joshua Van that night for the title than we did for Brandon Royval.
Wow, that's saying something too. Because I mean, going in there and beating Brandon Royval, that was a really, really special performance. One of the best fights of the year. And with you being like his main training partner, you must have a pretty good idea as to like where you stack up with the best of the best right now, right? Like you, so you're saying you feel like you're going to have a similar type of trajectory in your career.
I definitely feel that way because if I'm here preparing him for these fights against Pantoja, Brandon Royval, and all the fights before that, man, that just solidifies it for me that I could also be just as great, you know.
Mhm. And you mentioned December for that fight with Pantoja. I haven't seen an announcement yet. Do you know something that I don't? Is there a
I
fight that?
believe I believe it's in December, but don't quote me on that. But I think it's around the time before the end of the year, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. And that fight with Pantoja, man, that's going to be such a banger. Stylistically, when you just look at that objectively, like it's going to be a tough fight. I think it's safe to say it'll be, Joshua's toughest fight to date. How do you see it playing out?
Man, man, I'm gonna have to go against you on that, man. I don't think it'll be his toughest fight, man. He's faced these guys like Ray Tatsuria and who was the other wrestler? He was a wrestler, Cody Durden. Man, those guys were only specifically trying to go for takedowns for that whole first round. Maybe they got the takedown, but man, it was hard to keep him down. And then once Josh put that boxing pressure on him, it was a totally different ball game at that point. So man, man, him being at 4 ounces is just going to make his takedown defense better and his ground game better. And man, I feel like it's going to be another masterclass on for this championship belt. It's going to be a tough one, maybe that first round, but once Pantoja starts slowing down like he usually does, I think Josh has it in the bag.
You think he's going to finish him?
I believe so. Third round.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
That I wonder what the odds with that on that would be. Obviously, you can't bet, but when it does come out, I'm going to be looking at that to see what they are. Because if that does come to fruition, someone could make a lot of money on that, I think.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Tell me, man, as far as like 4 ounce goes and just some of these up and comers that maybe like the general public doesn't know about, is there a name or two that you could throw out for people to keep their eyes on for future UFC stars?
Definitely. Hector Syons, the 155 Fury FC champion at the moment, just won by emphatic knockout. Man, it was a crazy knockout. Right in between an exchange, and he flatlined the kid. So Hector Syons will be a big one coming up here soon. And Justice Torres, he's actually just got the call for Contender Series for next Tuesday, and that's one to watch out for. That kid can fight. He's coming. He's a dog, you know. He's coming to fight. So and he's not gonna make it pretty. He's gonna bang somebody up for it.
Okay, I will make a note of those two and keep an eye on them. Last thing for me, my man, before we get you out of here today, as far as like the perfect time frame for your next fight, is there one? Do you want to just get back in there as soon as possible? What are you thinking as far as your second UFC fight?
Man, as soon as possible, November, December. I mean, that would be best case scenario. You know, I mean, the fight money doesn't last very long. I mean, especially when you're only fighting. I'm trying to do some work on the side so I can, put that money away for the baby. But hopefully November or December so I can make a little bit more money.
Well, I can't wait to see you back in there, man. After that UFC debut, I know the rest of the fans out there are really looking forward to seeing you climb back in the octagon. Great to interview you here for the first time today. Hopefully, we'll do it again before your next fight. Before
Definitely.
we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If you got, anything you want to plug, any sponsors, anything like that, the floor is yours.
I want to give a big shout out to 4 Ounce Fight Club, Daniel Pineda, Artenius Young, Joseph McCamish for making me the fighter and the man that I am today. I want to give a big shout out to Aslan Boxing, Jose Vasquez for helping me improve my boxing before this fight. David over at David Temple Construction, strength and conditioning coach. Man, he's definitely taken my game to the next level. And a even bigger thank you to Iridium, Jason House, Jacob Parga. Man, all those guys have been taking care of me, especially when I didn't deserve this chance that I got. Man, they definitely believed in me, and it's showing. So I want to give a big thank you to them.